The sun went down. The sky turned a beautiful orange. Then it became a deep, dark blue. Stars began to shine like tiny diamonds. It was a perfect night in the village. The air was cool. The sounds of the day were fading away. Crickets chirped. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves in the trees. The village was peaceful. Everyone was preparing for dinner time. It was the best time of day. Mama Naledi smiled. She was sitting by a warm fire. The fire crackled and popped. It made the air smell like smoke and wood. Her children, Jabari and Abini, came running towards her. They were laughing and giggling. They had been playing with their friends. "Mama, we're hungry!" Jabari exclaimed. He rubbed his tummy for emphasis. "Welcome, my little ones," Mama Naledi chuckled. "Tonight, we eat chapati and cabbage." Mama Naledi always made the best chapati. They were soft and fluffy with layers like a pancake cake. Everyone in the village loved them. "Mama, how do you make them so delicious?" Abini asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. Mama Naledi winked. "It's a secret," she whispered, "but I'll share it with you tonight." Abini and Jabari leaned in closer, eager to learn. They loved helping Mama in the kitchen. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep indigo, Mama Naledi stepped into the heart of her outdoor kitchen, her hands steady and practiced from years of preparing meals for her family. The air was filled with the gentle hum of crickets and the distant laughter of children playing nearby. Tonight, she was going to teach her grandchildren, Abeni and Jabari, the art of making chapati, a tradition passed down through generations in their village. Mama Naledi took a big, sturdy bowl and set it on the wooden table. She reached for a sack of flour, scooping out a generous handful and letting it fall like soft powder into the bowl. Next, she poured in cool water from a clay jug, the liquid glistening in the lantern light. With a practiced pinch, she added just the right amount of salt, explaining to Abeni and Jabari that salt brings out the flavor in the bread. She rolled up her sleeves and began to mix the ingredients with her hands, her fingers moving in slow circular motions. The flour and water came together, forming a sticky mass that gradually became smoother and more elastic. "Feel the dough," she encouraged the children, letting them press their small hands into the mixture. "It should be soft, but not too sticky. This is how you know it's ready." Once the dough was just right, Mama Naledi pinched off small pieces and rolled them between her palms, shaping them into neat round balls. She lined them up on a woven mat, each one waiting its turn to be transformed into a chapati. Abeni and Jabari watched closely, eager to try for themselves. "Now it's your turn," Mama Naledi said, handing each child a dough ball. Together they pressed and patted the dough, flattening it gently with their fingers before reaching for the rolling pin. The children giggled as their dough wobbled and stretched, sometimes sticking to the table or tearing at the edges. They used a small rolling pin, its wooden surface smooth from years of use. Mama Naledi showed them how to roll from the center outwards, turning the dough a little with each pass. "Be gentle but firm," she advised, her voice warm and encouraging. "The chapati should be thin, but not so thin that it tears. Make sure it's thin like the moon," Mama Naledi instructed, holding up a perfectly round chapati for them to see. Abeni burst into giggles, her own chapati looking more like a lopsided cloud than a moon. Jabari tried to help, but his dough stuck to the rolling pin, making everyone laugh even harder. "My chapati looks like a rabbit," Abeni exclaimed, holding up her misshapen creation. Mama Naledi laughed, her eyes crinkling with joy. "Every chapati has its own story," she said, "and yours is a very special one." "It's okay, little one. We'll cook it anyway," Mama Naledi reassured her, giving Abeni a gentle hug. The kitchen was filled with warmth, not just from the fire, but from the love and laughter they shared as they learned, together, how to turn simple dough into delicious discs of chapati. While they were making the chapati, a delicious smell filled the air. It was the cabbage cooking on the fire. Mama Naledi had chopped the cabbage into thin strips. She added onions, tomatoes, and spices. Then she cooked it in a big pot over the fire. The cabbage sizzled and popped as it cooked. The aroma made everyone's mouths water. It smelled like warmth and happiness. Soon, other families started to gather around the fire. They brought their own food to share. There was roasted maize, sweet potatoes, and juicy mangoes. "Sawubona, Mama Naledi," a neighbor greeted. "Your chapati smells divine. Shikamu," Mama Naledi replied with a smile. "Please join us." Everyone sat together, sharing stories and laughter. The fire crackled merrily, casting a warm glow on their faces. At last, after hours of preparation and anticipation, the chapati and cabbage were finally ready. The aroma of freshly cooked bread and savory vegetables drifted through the cool night air, mingling with the gentle sounds of crickets and distant laughter from neighboring homes. The small kitchen, lit only by the soft glow of lanterns and the flicker of a wood fire, felt warm and inviting, a safe haven from the vast starlit darkness outside. With practiced hands, Mama Naledi carefully arranged the chapati and cabbage on a large, round plate. She moved with a quiet grace, her face illuminated by the firelight, her eyes reflecting both pride and love. Each piece of chapati was placed with care, and the cabbage was spooned generously, its steam rising in delicate wisps. The chapati were golden brown, their surfaces slightly blistered and puffy from the heat of the pan. They looked perfect, soft, yet with just enough crispness at the edges to promise a satisfying bite. The smell was irresistible, a blend of flour, oil, and the faintest hint of smoke from the open fire. The cabbage, cooked slowly with onions, tomatoes, and a touch of spice, glistened with flavorful juices. Each strand shimmered in the lantern light, promising a burst of sweetness and warmth with every mouthful. The colors, vivid green and golden yellow, stood out against the simple clay plate, making the humble dish look almost festive. As Mama Naledi set the plate in the center of the table, everyone gathered around, their faces eager and expectant. Children's eyes widened with excitement, and the adults exchanged knowing smiles. Without hesitation, hands reached out, some small, some calloused from years of work, to take a piece of chapati or scoop up a helping of cabbage. The act of sharing, of breaking bread together, felt sacred beneath the open sky. They ate with their hands, savoring each bite slowly, as if to make the meal last as long as possible. The chapati was used to scoop up the cabbage, soaking up every drop of its savory sauce. Laughter and gentle conversation filled the air, punctuated by the occasional hum of appreciation or a whispered thank you. For a moment, the worries of the day faded away, replaced by the simple joy of good food and good company. Each chapati was soft and chewy, yielding easily to the touch. The texture was perfect, pillowy on the inside with just enough resistance to make every bite satisfying. Tearing off a piece, you could feel the warmth radiating from the bread, a comfort against the coolness of the night. The cabbage was both sweet and savory, its flavors deepened by the slow cooking and the blend of spices. Each mouthful was a reminder of home, of tradition, and of the love that went into every step of its preparation. The dish was simple, yet it tasted like a celebration, a feast made from the heart. Above them, the stars twinkled in the vast African sky, like a million tiny eyes peering down, silent witnesses to the family's nightly ritual. The Milky Way stretched across the darkness, its shimmering band a reminder of the world's endless beauty and mystery. The night felt alive, filled with the quiet magic that only comes when people gather together under a blanket of stars. The air was cool and fresh, carrying the sounds of happy chatter and contented sighs. Stories were shared, jokes were told, and memories were made, all woven together by the simple act of sharing a meal. In that moment, surrounded by family and friends, with the taste of chapati and cabbage lingering on their tongues, and the stars shining above, everything felt just right. A perfect night under a blanket of stars. Jabari took a big bite of his chapati, the warm golden bread still steaming from the fire. The soft, pillowy texture melted in his mouth, and the subtle aroma of freshly ground wheat mingled with the smoky scent of the evening air. Around him, the gentle hum of crickets and the distant laughter of neighbors created a comforting backdrop, making this simple meal feel like a celebration. He closed his eyes and sighed with happiness, letting the flavors linger on his tongue. For a moment, the world seemed to pause, and all that mattered was the taste of home. The chapati was more than just food. It was a memory, a tradition, and a symbol of togetherness. Jabari felt the warmth of his family surrounding him, their voices blending with the night as they shared stories and laughter. "This is the best chapati ever, Mama," he declared, his eyes shining with excitement. The words tumbled out of him, full of genuine delight. He looked around the table, hoping everyone else felt the same magic in each bite. The chapati was soft and flavorful, with just the right hint of salt and a touch of something special he couldn't quite name. "It's even better with Mama's secret ingredient," Abini added with a mischievous grin, her eyes twinkling in the lantern light. She nudged Jabari playfully, as if she knew a secret he didn't. The siblings giggled, their laughter echoing across the open yard, mingling with the soft rustle of leaves in the evening breeze. The secret ingredient was a favorite topic of conversation, sparking wild guesses and playful debates at every meal. Mama Naledi just smiled, her eyes sparkling with love and a quiet pride. She watched her children with a heart full of gratitude, knowing that these moments were the true treasures of life. The glow from the fire danced across her face, highlighting the gentle lines that spoke of years spent nurturing her family and perfecting her recipes. She knew that the true secret ingredient was not something you could measure or taste. It wasn't a spice from the market or a special flower from a distant town. It was the care she poured into every step, from kneading the dough to flipping each chapati over the fire. It was the laughter that filled the kitchen, the stories shared as the bread browned, and the love that bound them all together. It was the love and laughter that filled their hearts as they shared this simple meal together. In that moment, under the vast African sky, surrounded by family and tradition, every bite of chapati became a thread in the tapestry of their lives. A tapestry woven from memories, joy, and the unbreakable bonds of family. As the fire slowly died down, leaving a trail of glowing embers, a feeling of gratitude settled over everyone. They were thankful for the food, the company, and the simple joys of life in the village. Underneath the vast African sky, they felt a sense of belonging, of community, of being part of something bigger than themselves. And in that moment, all was right with the world.